Hey guys, welcome to the F.O.C podcast. I am your host, Kyle McLaughlin. Got a really exciting topic to discuss today that I'm sure everybody that's either a homeowner or a tenant will be anxious to hear about. We're going to talk about how we can save money on your cost of ownership or tenantship if that happens to be you. So the problem is huge, right? We all know that costs are rising, inflation's on the rise. People are desperately trying to find ways to reduce their costs on a monthly basis and how to save more money. And I'm here to share some really easy ways that we can all do that starting today that will make a great, huge impact for you on your cost of living on a monthly basis. So stay tuned for this episode. I'm really excited to share with you. Let's go. So let's get right into it. How homeowners can start saving today. So the problem, costs are rising. So more expensive to be a homeowner today than it ever has been on the history of the world, really. We're at an all-time high. So according to Forbes, I'm going to read some stats here for you. According to Forbes, the average cost to maintain a single-family home is not only at an all-time high, but according to Zillow and Thumbtack, you can expect to pay about $14,000 a year, which is about $1,100 a month, in hidden costs related to owning a home. This estimate includes changes in property taxes and utilities, as well as maintenance costs as well. Another interesting stat is that from a third quarter of last year, the year before now, we're in 24, the third quarter in 22 compared to the third quarter in 23, average home maintenance costs have increased by at least $400. So pretty significant. Obviously, the elephant in the room is inflation, which has increased the overall cost of goods and services, while ongoing labor and material shortages have also driven up the price, right? Think of purchasing as a hard part, but homeownership provides a whole new set of challenges. People end up exhausting their savings and have to rent out a portion of their property or sell and downsize because they cannot afford insurance, bills, maintenance, repairs, etc. Every little bit counts, so rather than looking for one big way to save a ton of money, let's save a lot of money in small ways and set yourself up for success. Okay, so we're going to go over a few things today, some tips and some tricks that you can do by yourself, within a budget or not, to improve the energy efficiency of your home. So let's start with kind of the basics of how you can even determine whether or not your home is energy efficient and if it needs improvement. The first thing I'd recommend is just to have a basic home inspection done. There's two ways that you can go about that. You can simply Google local home inspectors in your area, and find the most cost-effective one, and then let them know what you're trying to accomplish, that you're looking for ways to maximize your energy efficiency. Most should be trained and skilled enough to do that for you. A standard home inspection can run a couple $100 depending on the size of your house or condo. Very easy to do. At Northstar Technologies, we offer an energy efficiency inspection report in which we'll have one of our servicers and dedicated staff members go out to your property and give you a checklist and also go through an inspection of how you can improve your property. That's number one and foremost. Some other things that you can start doing as a result of the homeowner's inspection that you'll have done that we've seen are common. Number one is going to be having proper installation. I have my little checklist here. This is an energy savings guide that you can download off of our website, northstartgi.com or northstarhomes.us. All of our content is free and downloadable. Make sure you visit that website. As I said, one of the easiest ones to determine is going to be proper installation. Reading off the checklist here, ensure your home is properly insulated. Good insulation keeps your home warmer in winter and cooler in summer, reducing the strain on your HVAC system. Why is that important, right? Most installation that's done, we do a lot of construction in Florida, but really all across the U.S. is going to be your standard bat installation, so a standard mineral wool, which is good, right? But if you have blown-in insulation in your roof or in your attic, that is a major source of where you're losing energy efficiency. Why? I'll give you an example. In Florida, you have your roof, especially during the summer, that's just getting cooked all day during our hot summer days where temperatures can exceed 100 degrees and humidity is always at 100% during the summer. Your attic is extremely hot. It can reach temperatures of 130 degrees up there, right? So as the roof is getting baked, right, that heat is transferring. It's called thermal massing, that process where the heat energy transfers from one material to the next and then to the next until it gets into your environment, aka your home. Right? So if you have a way of bridging that or stopping that, you're going to reduce greatly the amount of energy heat that's being transferred into your home. How do we do that? Well, your standard blown insulation isn't really made to do that, right? You have two problems in your attic. Number one is the lack of insulation. Number two is all your major AC components are running through your attic. So think about that for a second. Your AC is outside, and the compressor is generating all the energy it has to feed the wind into the vents. And those vents that run through your attic, which is the hottest point in your house, are getting cooked. And then just to go through your air handler to try to get cold again, right? All of that requires an extreme amount of energy. So you want to be able to help those vents and that AC as much as possible. So instead of doing blown-in insulation, if your budget allows, I would recommend doing an isoniine spray-in or any sort of spray insulation, or simply just adding more blown-in insulation in there. There's always code minimums for what builders require, or I'm sorry, what the county or the municipality require builders to do, and everything is just done to code minimum, right? Insulation is no exception to that rule. So if you simply add more blown-in insulation, that'll help. But I would highly recommend doing spray on isoniine in areas strategically where you can improve your energy efficiency. You'll see a massive reduction in your energy bill and a huge improvement in your overall energy efficiency for the house just by doing that. The next one, right from our checklist that you can download on our website, is going to be smart thermostats. Seems like pretty obvious, but most people, even myself included on my previous home, had the old school Honeywell thermostat that just is basically just looks like a digital clock giving you info. Thermostats have come such a long way. There's things like Ecobee or Nest that are smart, that connect to your iPhone or any smart tablet that you have, or even your computer. And there's a range of settings that you can set for when you're away from home, when you're sleeping, when there's peak activity, when there's peak heat, whether you can use to regulate the energy output or throughput through the Nest thermostat. All right, guys, next tip from our energy savings guide is going to be something that's a little bit more cost incentive, but it's honestly going to help you the most. It's going to be replacing your windows and doors if you have the ability to do so. So obviously that's more of a bigger ticket item for your budget. But as it comes to windows, right, that's one of the most instant impact that you can have on saving energy, especially when you're looking at double pane windows or windows with high UV rating. We have some different dealers that we work with, such as Marvin or Anderson being the more popular brands, and some more cost-effective brands such as Mr. Glass that we work with. So we're a full-service GC, and we can replace your windows at any time. Again, that can range. I'll give you an average on like a 1,500 square foot 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Can range anywhere between $12,000 to $18,000, $20,000 depending on the brand and how many windows you have. Usually accounting for like 8 or 9 windows and maybe a slider or two is about the price range I just gave you. Again, bigger ticket item. There's financing options that you can have for that, so it's not a huge chunk. But the way to look at that is, if I improve the windows that I have in my house, right? If my house normally was built before 2005, you're probably not going to have energy efficient windows. But even some of the newer construction too, you'd want to get that checked out to make sure you have at least have the most up-to-date window that you can possibly have, right? If you're changing the windows, most of the time it's a capital improvement. You're improving the value of your property. You're improving the equity in your property. So you have to think, am I thinking about selling in the near future or within the next 5 years? Or is this my forever home? Or is this a home that I'll always have for a long time, whether it's an investment or a personal property, to where you can either offset that cost on a long-term basis by the reduction in your energy bills, right? And sometimes, actually most of the time, insurance companies will provide discounts for you having high energy efficiency windows or impact rated windows. So that's important to know too, not only on the energy saving side, but on the insurance side as well. One of the last tips I'm going to give you from our energy guide is going to be sealing, right? And not sealing like the seal above me, but sealing any sort of leaks that you may have in your home, whether it's a door opening, a window opening, any rough opening from the outside to the inside of your home should be sealed, completely weatherproofed, right? So what we say here is identify and seal any air leaks in doors and windows. This prevents the loss of heated or cooled air, making your HVAC system more energy efficient, right? So you may wonder how you actually can determine whether or not something's leaking. Sometimes they're very observable, right? You may see a hole or some sort of damage in the ceiling, in the ceiling of your window or of your doors. There's weather stripping on the bottom doors that sometimes get worn out over time as you open and close the doors. Same thing with above and below the doors. Another important thing to note too that I see a lot of people do, not just in Southwest Florida or Florida in general, but across the country, is People have the tendency to leave their garage door open, but still have the actual garage door, right? But the inside door as well. Make sure that if you're going to have your garage door open, obviously close your door, your inside door, but try not to have the garage door open, the main garage door open, because you're allowing all that air to come in and brace against the door that you have on the interior side. So I think that's just like kind of a common sense one. Most people will be like, well, I already know that, but I think it's worth mentioning because I just happen to see so many people that keep their main garage door open. So make sure that stays closed as much as possible, especially during the summer. Another way to identify any leaks, especially air leaks or water leaks, is obviously to have a licensed inspector go out and check out your property. They have special tools and measuring systems that they use in order to determine whether or not there's a perforation and how either if it could simply be caulked or if there needs to be some replacement that has to happen. Right, so easy one there that you can do again today when you go home. If you're listening to this at work on your commute from or to work, once you get to your house, just look at all your windows and look around the ceiling and the caulking, and if that all looks if it looks like it's been damaged in the past, or if there might be a hole or something, get that caulked or get that checked out. Okay, guys, so as we close out the episode, obviously these are great tips if you already have a home. If you're considering building a home, the absolute best thing you can do is to build an energy efficient home, which reduces the amount of traditional materials that you're using, such as wood, concrete, or steel, which are known to be huge thermal, not thermal insulators, but thermal masters. So these traditional materials are known to be thermal masters, which is going to reduce the energy efficiency of your home, right? What you want is thermal insulators or thermal, not that don't have any thermal bridging. That way you're having the most energy efficient home possible. And one of the best ways to do that, North Star Building Systems offers a complete composite building system shell. So you would replace your concrete wall blocking your walls, and you would replace the wood in your trusses and in your bucking, in order to reduce all those traditional materials and have a higher energy efficient home. We offer that as a standard building system in our company. Whether you're already working with a builder or interviewing builders, it doesn't matter. We can act as a full builder, or we can sell our shells to your builder to introduce that into the home that you're building. So obviously, if you're building, great option. If you're not, please be sure, if you already have a home, to download this energy savings checklist from either the link below this video or also our website, northstartgi.com and northstarhomes.us. I hope that today was insightful and helpful for you guys. We look forward to future episodes in which we'll be providing not only more tips, but over general guidelines on the construction industry as part of the F.O.C. podcast. If you're wondering, the F.O.C. podcast, F.O.C. stands for the future of construction. And that's what we strive to do here every single day, working with homeowners, with the general public, but also working with builders and developers, and hold them accountable, hold everybody accountable to improve the way that we're building our homes, that we put our families in, our commercial buildings that we work out of, our essential workers and government buildings that we desperately need to have them be the most energy efficient, sustainable, and cost effective that they possibly can be. In the words of the great Kanye West, better, faster, stronger, and that's what we strive to do here every single day. So please subscribe to our podcast, help spread the awareness, pound on the like button, pound on the subscribe button, and do whatever you can to spread our message. We greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the FOP podcast. Thank you.